What's up, lefties? How's it going? It's your boy Michael Harris, joined with always Lincoln Cook. Nice to see you again. Simple show this week. We got the disc golf news. We got the dealer's choice, a little bit in the bag section, and we're going to finish it out with the 2-minute drill. Sound good?
In the bag should be fun because we're going to not just talk about a disc. We're going to kind of go through like the staples of our bag, the discs that while we interchange some constantly remain in our bags. So
Perfect.
That should be fun. And then we got a lot of news to talk about. I mean, we don't have to talk about all of it, but there's been a lot of news-worthy items this week in disc golf.
Oh, yes.
And no, my fingernails are not painted yet.
Not yet, but
they will be, and I will follow through.
Yeah, good. Do you know what color you're going to do yet?
Whatever Paisley wants to do.
There you go. Hopefully she chooses some glittery hot pink color for you.
That's normally about what it is, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Which means Simon Lizotte has left Discmania.
Yeah. How did you feel watching that video?
Felt a lot of things, I guess. Like, kind of felt like excited for him.
Yeah.
But also like you could see how difficult it was, but I also didn't know why he was leaving. And that's the part where I'm probably most confused, is that we still just don't know where he's going.
Yeah.
And why he's leaving, because it's not just a monetary thing, I think.
Yeah. Do you think it has something to do with, I mean, clearly his Tour Series discs were super popular with the Discmaniacs. I mean, even just his last Doombird 4 drop sold out within a matter of minutes.
Yep. Which I got 3.
Nice. They'll be hitting a Facebook Marketplace soon. Yep. So get that resale value.
I'm going to keep at least 1, but
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Do you think it's because he wants to kind of get into disc making himself, like with the whole mold process, kind of similar to Paul Macbeth, or what other reasons do you think he would possibly leave?
So I was thinking about it on my walk last night with Penny, walking my dog, and I don't think that it's a monetary reason he's leaving, but obviously money has to do with some of it, but I don't think that's like the driving factor, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Discmania probably offered him what he was offered from this other company.
Yeah.
But like he said, he wanted something new, and he had created the Tilt. So he created his own disc, just like how Eagle created the Cloudbreaker and the Rainmakers.
Yeah.
Right, so like they were working with Simon and Eagle to make their own discs. So I feel like if they wanted to, that he could have explored more of that side too.
Yeah.
But I think it's like the potential to have like equity within a company, like a small manufacturer.
Okay.
Which I hope it's not MVP. I don't know why. Just because I want to see a bigger change. I want to see something exciting, and him going to MVP just wouldn't get me that excited. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think it's just about creating his own discs. I think it's about like being an influence within a company and like making bigger decisions and like having a stake in the company. So he's not just making money when he's done playing disc golf and done making videos.
Yeah.
He's got equity and recurring revenue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like, just thinking off the top of my head, something like the Avery Jenkins, how he is in charge of Discmania, like
it's kind of a manager role
in like charge of in charge of a lot of things, while still being able to play. The one thing that kind of caught my attention in the interview was when he's just talking about wanting a new challenge, and I think his success this last year kind of sparked something in him. He's always been that guy that at tournaments, 4 wins, but like last 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 year, I think he had some interviews where he's just like, I don't really care if I win. I just want to put on a show for the fans and for
pleasing the crowd, the
Yep,
crowd pleaser.
yeah,
What
yeah.
the
It's okay.
the
We all
crowd
stumble over our
pleaser?
words.
Jeez Louise, sorry, that's
um,
bad.
and that's like, I think leading up like to last season, that's kind of always been his mentality is I'm here for show, not for
Yo,
the winnings per se. But I think getting those wins under his belt, changing his game, um,
being a dad,
being a dad,
another factor.
getting married,
Got
all
a
those
mortgage.
things. Yeah, it's a good time for a life change, I guess.
I mean, the longer that he stays at Discmania, the harder that change is going to be too.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're going to make a change, now should be the time to do it.
Yeah.
I personally wanted to go to like Clash or like Castaplast or Mint, even like something smaller where they don't have a full lineup yet, and he can work with them to create more of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's exciting, but also I just want to know. I'm impatient.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, I still think it's MVP. That's where all the rumors have been pointing towards.
They're up in the New England Northeast area.
Yes. And that's why I think it's not necessarily his home course, but he's super comfortable at Maple Hill, sponsored by MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it just kind of, they're not synonymous with each other yet, but it won't be hard to kind of see him there, just because of his experience with MVP and Maple Hill.
Yeah. So it happened. I didn't think it would, honestly, but now that it has happened, I'm accepting of that fact, but I just want to know what happens next, you know?
Yeah. With his departure from Discmania, how do you feel about their product on the course, their team? You got Eagle.
Their team's pretty weak.
You got Eagle, Kyle Klein, who's the new guy from Prodigy they just added?
Gavin Babcock.
And Colton Montgomery. Am I missing?
And Colton's not even full touring right now.
He's not.
He stepped away from disc golf last year. I'm sure he's coming back, but back when Kona was sucking, he said he was stepping back a little bit. They got Ella Hansen.
Yeah.
But not
really
much else.
Yeah. Do you think, so if you're them, do you start kind of panic?
Like trying to poach someone?
Recruiting, or like what's their next move?
I wonder if the whole UC situation
is kind of
being off the map right now.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has anything to do with why he's more accepting of moving on, and also why like they don't have like maybe that head decision maker right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of behind the scenes action is not being taken control of.
Exactly. Because I think like the CD1, the Stratosphere project, all that stuff, I think that was planned before
everything went down.
The whole UC situation happened. Yeah. So I think those were like planned and in the works. So it was like, okay, we'll follow this timeline and boom, that's what we'll do at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, who's going to take control? I don't know.
Who's going to make decisions? Who's going to come up with new market material? Who's going to come up with new discs, new plastic? I think they're okay for now. You still have Eagle. You still have
Kyle.
You still have the discs that Simon had. You still have a lot of people.
Casey White.
You still have a lot of people loyal to Discmania. And I think this last year, switching to the Latitude 64 plastic and factory, they're just starting to fill out their kind of originals molds again. So it's not quite.
That's with their own manufacturing. That's because they've got their own plants and machines now.
Yeah. Is that through
so
Latitude?
That's their own manufacturing. They're not putting as much into that evolution line, but that's the originals.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so like they're trying to catch back up to how they were before the Innova split.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have issues selling discs still.
No,
but anything with Simon's name on it sold well.
Yeah,
Skyguide 4, Mindbender, now the Doombird 4.
Yeah,
I don't think he had any distance drivers with like the recent change, but
no, till
yeah, until yep. So yeah. I really, and this is a good segue to the next bit of news that we'll talk about. I really wanted Discmania to go after Anthony Barella.
Yeah,
like he could have fit in to be the next Crush Boy. He's long and lanky.
You want him to go to Discmania?
Yeah, because I thought it would fit his playing style really well. He'd thrown some Discmania when being sponsored by Innova before that whole cutoff, but instead we got the Discraft Elite team,
and that is about the most elite team I have ever seen in disc golf. It hasn't been long since I've been following team disc golf, but
and that's a kind of interesting topic too, is like, what does team disc golf really insinuate? Because
it means nothing.
Now it's not like a NASCAR situation where like if your team wins you get points or something like that. Like doesn't matter, but it does look dope.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously Paul and Paige, two biggest names. Chris Dickerson, Brody Smith, Adam Hammis, Corey Ellis, who's a stud. Corey was so great last year.
AB.
And now Anthony Barella, Colin Hanley, Valerie Mandujano, and Missy Gannon.
Yeah.
That's did I miss anybody? That's 10. And then
talk about it. I'll go back and look, but I don't think so.
And then Yuli is like the team captain or whatever. Like that's a sick lineup.
Yeah, and just like especially both MPO and FPO, I don't see any tournament where not one of those 10 competitors aren't on a lead card every single round.
Yeah. What, like, they could miss podium because there's tons of great disc golfers right now, but you're right. Like, being on a lead card final round, there has to be, between MPO and FPO, there has to be one of them.
Every time.
Makes that lead card for the final round. Yeah.
Like there's
between Paul and Chris, those two are dynamite. Paige, she's up, obviously not as great last year as before, but she's
still top four. She's still getting top fours.
And then Val is now like right up there too, at top 5.
Yeah. I think
it's cool.
Yeah. Val joining her sister. It's cool again. So
yeah, I hope that they do something different for that team as like their Tour Series discs, and make it a little bit higher level than like the Michael Johansson, like how he had a Tour Series disc, that those kind of people.
Yeah, and that I mean, I don't know the inner workings of manufacturers, but I think that's where you have to start going. There's only so many molds people want. There's only so many stamps you can put on a ESP Buzz or a Force or an Undertaker. It's the market is kind of getting saturated with different names on a disc compared
different plastics. Like they have so many plastics.
Stamp. Yeah.
And then they have all of the like the D-Glow and the Ledgestone drops. Like they have so many different types of discs, and I got all those zones up there. So like I'm a zone guy, but like
yeah, you're who they're marketing to.
I mean, I only bag the zone. It's the only Discraft disc I have. Spoiler.
Yeah, but it's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Any other news you want to go over?
Not really. Those are kind of the big talking points right now. I'm excited to see if Dynamic signs anyone, or do they just kind of have all their eggs tied in their two baskets right now and don't feel the need to reach out when you have Rick, Kona, and Kristen on your team. So it's like, well, Kristen's latitude, but it's like sort of the same. Family. Yeah.
Yeah. And they have like a lot of good supporting cast members. Like Chris Clemens was a top 10 this last year. So that was a good re-signing for him.
Well, he's our idol. I mean, Lefty's.
Let's go. And Zach Melton.
Yep, Zach Melton stayed. So they're two of the best. They're two of the most consistent. Those are the guys that I watch to learn the most from. Granted, I don't have the forehand power that Chris does, but
he's insane with it, man.
Yeah. I just watched it. There was the Disc Golf Pro Tour posted today who has the best forehand on tour, and the shot that Chris threw was just like that Biofusion Defender. He just mashes every single time, and it goes so far.
Mashes. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then who are the other names on that list?
It had Big Germ, Nate Sexton, Aaron Gossage, Chris. Oh, nice. Yeah, there was.
Gossage. That's the name we forgot on the elite team.
Yeah.
That was a good promo for him.
It was. Yeah. I mean, he had a good year last year. He deserved it.
Great year.
We'll see what
Colorado guy.
Yep.
Let's go.
So yeah, I'm excited for the Discraft releases. We'll see what they do with their tour series, discs and everything going forward. But
yeah, for sure.
Should be a really good year for them. I don't know how they can afford it, but they sell enough discs.
They sell a lot. Yeah. And they also have their discs in like Play It Again Sports, and they have like those types of deals with not just disc retailers. They have it in like Walmart and Play It Again, and I don't know if they have it in Dick's yet, but
no, I think
that sounded bad. Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah. We know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I just want to be clear for any young ears, or I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No more news, and I think it's.
Should move on to Dealer's Choice.
Yeah. Take it away.
Okay. We need to have like a little like sound drop or whatever, like Dealer's Choice. I don't know, something. As we move on, we'll get a little more sophisticated.
Yeah. Maybe I can throw that in on the GarageBand.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Okay, so Dealer's Choice is, in my mind, like the way that I envisioned this was like we come every week with news and notes we want to talk about in the bag. You know, we have a little structure, so we kind of know where we're going with the conversation. Mm-hmm. But the Dealer's Choice is opportunity for us to ask each other a random question that's been on our mind, something that we think is interesting, something that we want to discuss that's meant to just get initial thoughts from the other person. So we'll have Dealer's Choice, me to you and you to me.
Okay.
And my Dealer's Choice is going to be a draft between us, as I mentioned last week. And it's something that I've thought about in the past. It's kind of a fun thought exercise, but this is it. If you could only have one manufacturer for each part of your bag, putters, mid-ranges, fairways, distance drivers.
Okay.
So if, say, you take Innova for distance drivers, that means I can't choose Innova for anything else. You can't choose them for anything else. And then I would take Discraft for mids, then Discraft's off the board. So we'll go back and forth. I'll let you start, and then you'll go first, and then I'll go twice, and then back to you. So snake style.
Okay.
And you can go, you don't have to start putters. You can go anywhere you want. That way you can try to take your favorite.
Perfect. I'm tempted to pick Dynamic fairways just to pull those escapes off. So here's the thing: like I can play this game,
Play
trying to
defense.
take away what you want or get what I want.
Yeah.
I would probably go with, just to be safe, it covers the most bases. They have the most plastics, molds, you name it. But I'm gonna go with Innova putters.
Dang, that's what I had. Not as my number one choice, but I have a little list of if you take this, I'm going to go this way.
Yeah,
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 backup options.
yeah,
And Innova Putters was on mine.
yeah,
They got tons of putter options, beaded, no beaded,
yeah,
and
yeah.
now I think like you can put the Toro in that putter slot too.
The pig, is that, are we counting that as a putter? Right?
Pig's totally a putter. Toro
Yeah,
is the a
yeah,
4 speed, but like you can consider it. I
yeah,
call a zone a putter.
yeah. The A3, or the, is it AVR3,
ABR
AVR3.
X3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those ones. I don't personally putt with one. I personally don't. I have a Rhino. I do throw the Rhino.
Yeah.
But I just think the molds, the plastics, there is so much to choose from them that I'll be set
Yeah.
with that.
Good choice. Good choice. Okay, I'm gonna go first with Discmania because I'm a Discmania guy.
Yep.
And I'm gonna put them in the fairway slot.
Okay.
Reason being, now with the CD1, you got the Essence, the FD, the FD3, which is one of my all-time favorite discs,
Mm-hmm.
the Instinct, and the CD1, formerly the CD2. And I don't know if you'll allow this, but like the PD is almost in that fairway.
If we're letting the CD one be in it, I'll let you go with the PD as well.
I mean, it's 9 speeds I consider fairways. I don't know what I consider 10 speeds. They're
Yeah.
control drivers, but
Is the CD a 9?
9.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was one of a 10.
It's the same flight numbers as an Escape,
Okay.
as a
Nice.
Undertaker, those types of discs, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna go Discmania fairways.
Cool.
And then I don't know if I want to play the attacking game or the defense. And I know what I'm gonna save for the end because I don't think you'll choose it. So I'm gonna go with my distance driver choice.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with dynamic discs.
Okay.
Because you got the Trespass, the Enforcer, and the Raider that pretty much can cover all those shots. Like if you get beat in Trespass,
Yeah.
I don't throw distance drivers a ton. I only have one that I truly love, and then two other, ancillary pieces. But I do like the Trespass. That would kind of be my workhorse. Like a forehand and backhand. And I also am playing a little bit of defense because I'm taking dynamic off the table for you.
That's good. That's good defense.
But I know what you're going to choose instead, so never mind. Didn't work.
I will go distance drivers, and I'm going to choose Discraft for my distance drivers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't think about the Hades.
You got a Hades as a kind of flip up turn. I've actually never thrown one, but you have it in there. You got a Scorch. You got the Zeus.
So 11 speed.
I like the Zeus a lot. And then if I need that overstableness, I can always get the Force.
I don't like the nukes. They could go nukes.
Yep. The nukes. You got the nuke. I personally don't get along well with the wider rim 13 speed, but it's in there when you need it. They got all the plastics, so Discraft, distance drivers. Yes.
Okay. I'm surprised, truly. But I don't dislike the pick.
Yeah. And then who do I choose?
That's why I wanted to spring this on you to make you just kind of think on your toes.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I either got fairways or mids.
Fairways and mids.
I'm gonna go. It sucks because like the manufacturer I want for both of them. Well, I don't want it for both, but they could take up either one. I will go Fairways Latitude 64.
That's what I thought you were gonna pick when I took dynamic
Yeah, yeah.
because of
You know me. I love the Explorer. Um, I could just leave it at that if I wanted to. Um,
pretty much you have the
but
Pioneer.
Pioneer, you have River, I believe.
Yeah, and I think the
River.
River's a very underrated disc, especially for amateurs.
Yeah, yeah. You got Saint Pro, the Saint.
Yep.
Do they have do they have an understable like roller fairway? I'm not. I just have the Explorer. So
The SPZ, isn't that
I love the SPZ. I lost mine.
SPZ3?
Yep. Rest in peace. You're in the water somewhere, but
Yeah.
loved my
Yeah, I can't believe we
SPZ3.
got that one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would be
If you wanted to slide it in there, you could probably even take the Musket if the PD counts as a fairway.
Musket. Like, yeah,
That's a great pick, actually.
yeah.
I don't.
For
I'm
me, like
yeah.
that's kind of what my bag actually looks like right now. So I'm not too upset with that for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
What are your
Well,
two
I'm glad
picks
you
to round
didn't
it
take
out?
this brand from me. I have no idea what I'm going to do with mids right now. So that's a big question. I don't throw a ton of mids anyway, so I guess it's not too bad for me. I'm
Yeah,
going to go with putters, and I'm going to go with MVP,
yeah. Good one.
which is very trendy right now, especially in
Yeah,
their putter lineup, because you got the Proxy and the Envy as the complement, understable, stable,
yeah.
with a bunch of different plastics.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Entropy is like the zone type,
Yep,
right? The super
yep.
overstable disc.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm such an idiot. The Proxy and the Envy are both Axiom. I'm such an idiot.
I mean, you
I
could
lost.
change it.
I lost at my own game.
You could change it right now, right? You want Axiom?
No. Well, frick. I don't know. Dang. Well, I'm in.
It's funny because like
So
to me, you fooled me. So I didn't even call you out on it. So I think you get away with it. To be
that's
honest, to
fair.
be honest,
The integrity move, right? Right. The integrity
and
move.
like I think of
That would be like
MVP.
calling Trilogy.
Yeah, but like it's even more like you got the MVP Axiom. They're both overmolds. Like those, in my mind, are the same. And then you
Yeah.
got Streamline. Streamline is that little bit different. Like
Yeah.
you're on your own over here, but um,
I mean,
yeah,
if you'll give it to me, I'll take it.
I'll
But
give it to
then,
you. I wanted that for
but
my
then
mids,
putting
but
putter would be the Nomad for me.
yeah,
And they
yeah.
have the Ion, which is a great disc too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they've got a very good putter
And
lineup.
they have
And that's the
Adam.
only thing of
Yeah,
yeah, the Atom. So that's the
yeah,
only thing in MVP that actually I'm like interested in.
yeah,
But
yeah,
so MVP with this maybe tag of Axiom in there.
yeah.
So that's my putters, and then my mids. I had Discraft on my like first choice for mid ranges
Yep.
because of all the buzz combos that you can get, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm not sure where to go with it. But I'll take West Side because they've
Okay.
got the Gatekeeper, which is
Yeah. For
like
mid,
a
just
straight to
straight.
overstable mid.
Yep. Yep.
Is the Pine West Side or is that Latitude?
I think it's West Side.
Okay, I think it's West Side too, and I've heard that's a great disc.
Yeah.
The Tursus for an understable mid,
Yeah. And they got
and
a
then
war
the Anvil for the
and a
super
warship if you
overstable
want.
mid. Oh, and the Worship, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I won. There we go.
Yeah.
That's great.
Those are good mids.
West Side mids.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Okay. And
What
all
am
you have left
is mids.
is
I don't
mids.
even.
Because you went Innova putters,
Yeah.
Discraft distance drivers
Yeah.
and Longitude 64 fairways.
Yeah. Yeah. This is hard because one, I don't know that many more manufacturers.
Oh, I know what you could take. I'm not going to give it to you yet, but I took Discmania, Dynamic Discs, MVP, and Westside.
Yep. Yep.
So you can't choose any of those
Yeah,
brands.
I know.
Where are you going?
I know.
Where are you going?
Just trying to think what I see when I go to the store. It's been a while. It's hard when you get your bag so settled.
Yeah. I mean, you have the newer companies like the Clash, the Mint, the Lone Star.
Yeah.
But there's another big manufacturer that I think you're forgetting about.
Oh, I know there is. I don't know what it is, but
They're
sure.
based in Georgia.
Oh, Prodigy with the mids. I should have taken them for putters because that's what I like.
That's what I thought you were going to do with your putters.
Yeah, totally forgot. I mean, that's what I'm putting with. That's what I'm putting with.
The A series is your approach discs.
Yeah. Which I'm using my A. I'm using my A2 like an overstable mid, but it won't count. It's an approach putter. Yeah. But yeah, Prodigy. You got the M4, MX3,
MX3. Yeah.
Yep. They got all their. I mean, I think just a overstable M4 is all I would need for that mid slot. I don't.
Is the M4 that stable?
No, it's not.
I thought it was like a straighter buzz.
It is. But like,
okay. I've seen an M2 as like the overstable. It feels super similar, but it's just more stable.
Yeah.
Or the MX3. Yeah.
Thanks for the alley-oop on that one.
Yeah, no problem.
Perfect.
Okay, thanks for entertaining my my dealer's choice there.
It was good. Yeah, I need to brush up on my manufacturers, but
yeah, I mean that's kind of what we're here to chew the fat on: plastics, molds. I don't know, stuff that we text about.
Exactly. Okay, so my dealer's choice will be a segue kind of into our in the bag, because you were on the In the Bag podcast with Robbie C and Brad.
Yep.
Just let us know what episode you were on. Do you remember? I think it was 11 or 12.
13?
Okay. Yeah, I knew you were earlier.
Early teens.
Yeah. What was
11 to 13 range? 11 to 14 range.
Yeah. What was that interview like?
It was not exactly what I thought it would be.
Okay.
But it was fun to be on there. I was a little bit nervous. I didn't know how much of like loosey goosey to be on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tried to be a little bit like, I don't know, dialed in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was fun. I thought there would be a little bit more time for me to kind of just like talk through some of my discs or whatever and give reasoning, but we kind of moved through it quicker than I thought. Yeah. And then they recommended me my new favorite distance driver, as in the disc that I can actually throw confidently and far.
Nice.
So
we're not going to go into what that disc is yet. But I mean, just that whole experience of talking about discs, you love doing it, I love doing it. That's kind of the reason why we wanted to start this podcast video session, was to give us our opportunities to talk to each other, talk with anyone else that we want to bring on, just talk about discs that are in our bag. So thank you for kind of leading the way for us and getting this together. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I love just talking disc golf regardless, but
Yeah.
Yeah, no, especially when it's people that have like the same interest level as you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's always better when interest levels are matched rather than like my other buddies that I started with, like I'm way more into it than them. And
Yeah.
so like I'll text them and I get like a little bit less response.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
finding someone that you're uh on the
Compa-
same wavelength with
yeah.
is
Yeah,
always
for
nice.
sure. Yeah. And I know,
So
like, I mean, coming from other sports, it's that same thing. It's like you like to be around with people, play with people who are of that similar mindset to you, interest level, dedication, and drive about whatever you're doing and competing in. Um, and that's when you have each other to bounce ideas off of, talk, communicate with. It allows you to both grow and develop as players, hosts on this show, and overall friendship.
yeah, I think that's where you and I really started talking was when I think when I asked you about advice for my bird's nest tournament.
I
Was that what
think
it was?
so.
I mean, it
I
was
mean,
a
I
little
feel like
bit before that
Yeah,
we had been talking
we were talking before
some,
there. Yeah,
but that's when we like
we're like,
started like
oh,
going through stuff, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good.
yeah. There's a
Help me win that tournament. Rock on.
yeah.
That's what
You're welcome.
that disc is up there.
Nice.
There we go.
Yeah,
So
I miss the Colorado courses for sure. Just the difference of terrain, scenery, shot shape, distances. It is still fairly open, but you could go to Expo Park and have a lot of water to deal with. You could go up to Bird's Nest, have just a little bit of elevation to deal with. It was definitely a good little hot spot of disc golf that I miss dearly.
yeah, I don't love the stability added up here. Like
Yeah,
when I can't throw a disc, I can't hyzer flip a disc when I like think I can because I'm having a off day, and it's just like can't get anything to flip over. That's kind of a bummer. But
yeah, yeah,
okay, should we jump into in the bags?
yeah. Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, we'll start putters and we'll go back and forth. So we don't have to go through everything that's in our bag,
Yeah.
but I want to hit like the main staples.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
So I'll start, and of course I have my bag with me. I putt and throw with the Discmania Link.
Yeah.
In part because it's my name, but I bought one because actually I bought two because I was looking for a bunch of putters and went through like six or so. Actually, probably more than that, like 10.
Yeah.
I liked the bead, and then
Yep.
it just was really consistent for me. It was straight with just enough stability that I wasn't like scared of turning it over.
Yeah.
And I it was like the first putter that like worked for me. So I've
Yeah.
been obsessed with it, and I haven't changed putters in coming up on 2 years.
Nice.
No, 3 years. Coming up on 3 years.
Yeah.
Which I think is a testament to just like the consistency of the disc. So
yeah. Do you remember what you were using before then? I mean, I know you said you jumped around between a few discs, but was there anything else that was close to competing with it?
Right before the Link was the Fierce.
Okay.
Which that wasn't. It was actually a good disc to throw, but it wasn't ever like good for me putting wise.
Yeah.
I tried the JK AVR, the Yeti AVR. I couldn't find JKs, which I actually didn't mind the Yeti. It's kind of similar to this, but it was just like I didn't love it. It didn't work well for me.
Yeah.
Tried KC Pros, tried an AVR. I tried putting with the Pig for a while.
Yeah.
But there's a couple more. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that was the main ones. And then we'll do approach discs as its own category. But I also have the Trash Panda Inner Core as my straight to understable throwing putter, which is right there and there.
Yeah, you got that nice prototype clear one.
I got one of 7 prototypes,
Yeah.
which is pretty dope. And I have
Yeah.
one of like 12 of those.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
shout out to my boy Jesse.
Yeah. I love that disc.
But I bag at least one.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just super glidey, different than my links because I don't have to throw it as hard to get the glide.
Yeah.
And if I want it to just keep a turn, it'll hold the turn way more than the link will.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't have to constantly beat in links to get beat up links to fly that way.
Yeah.
I can just keep, my fresh ones, and I mostly putt with them anyways right now. But
nice.
okay.
I feel like I can't even talk about a putter right now. I spent the last year and a half with Wardens.
Yep.
I had pretty good success. I had a nice stack of them so I could practice in my backyard. But I went through a serious spell of putting yips. So I have been bouncing around between the Prodigy PA3, the Judge, and the Warden. And it's funny because those are all 3 like pretty different putters. But I've settled on the PA3 for now. It feels the most confident in my hand, but it's definitely not one of those staples in my bag. So I'm going to skip ahead to the kind of utility special approach disc in my bag that I'm actually putting back.
Actually, quick question.
Yep.
For our massive audience listeners right now,
I know.
what type of putter are you?
I don't even know. That's some days I'm spinning it a little bit more. Some days I'm giving a little bit more of a sploosh putt to it. I'm working towards being a sploosh putter. I don't want to full grip and rip, and if I miss, it's going 25 feet past. I'm wanting it to kind of fall, die. I like hitting the heart of the chains for sure. So missing that kind of like 10 feet past, 15 feet past. But I'm not wanting to just like laser beam straight at the chains where it's going past. And that's where I feel the PA3 gives me that confidence to go for it, because it's not going to be gliding 30 feet past ever.
Yeah.
It has enough glide to get to the basket, but it's never going to just like fly away on you. So I like it. It feels good in the hand. I don't mind a bead, and I also don't mind not having a bead.
Which is interesting because I feel like people aren't that way.
Yeah, they're very. I don't know if it's because I hold it weird.
I'm bead centric for sure.
Yeah.
So not to derail us too much on putters, and we'll kind of move quickly.
Yeah.
I'm a spin putter through and through. I don't mind missing 20 foot or missing a 30 footer and having it go 20 feet past because I know I'll make the comeback.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty confident putter. That's more often than not a strength in my game. Like, I'm not the furthest thrower, but I putt well. And this is leading to my question for you. I kind of developed a little bit of my putting style watching Simon and Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Those are kind of the people that I kind of implemented a little bit of the spin from. Yeah. Like, they get a lot of spin coming out of their hands.
It looks so effortless.
Exactly. And that's what I kind of wanted it to be. And, finding that rhythm is I feel like that's like key for spin putt.
Yeah.
I feel like it's actually the key for any putt, really. But is there a disc golfer that you kind of modeled your style after? And then also, I have a suggestion for you to watch.
Not overly. I mean, I go, and that's the problem. Sometimes I come back kind of straight into my chest and push out. Sometimes I come down with a hyzer, like Paul sometimes does. Sometimes when I go to release, I'm wanting to keep my hand flat and open, kind of looking like Calvin Heimberg a little bit.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like there's no consistency in any practice that I'm doing, any style that I'm trying. But the reason for that is for 5 months, I couldn't make a 15-footer. Like I would just be scared.
That's rough.
As soon as I would hold on to it and go down, I would just lose control. Like I can hold the putter out like this, no problem. I should probably like I can hold it like this, and I'm like, okay, flip it around. That's easy. But as soon as I tilt it and go like this, my hands just spaz out. So I've gotten.
I'll send you a book.
Yeah, I've gotten consistent at being inconsistent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm sorry because that's not very fun.
No.
The one person I would recommend is a lefty, and that is one of my friends here in Colorado, Micah Callis.
Okay.
I will send you a round of his on Gatekeeper media from the 303 Open this last year. He made it on the lead card for the second round.
Okay.
Nice. I'll send you that round. And then his is a little bit kind of like Chris Clemens.
Yeah.
Where he comes down real low. And I feel like if you get that spush, it might help. But
yeah. And that I mean, I like watching Chris's, but it's like his dip and toss.
So I'm just like simplifying that is a little bit more of Micah's. And Micah, it's so smooth. And he is a good putter. So
yeah, nice.
Okay. Approach discs, go.
You've heard it. You've seen
staples in your bag.
The Caltrop. That's it. I mean,
that's it.
I've had one since my first tournament that I played. That pink disc right there. I took out my yellow one.
That's the backup.
That's the backup. That is the only other zero medium Caltrop that I have. I have two other zero hard, but they're not as stable. They're definitely more neutral.
Really?
In their flight. Yeah. The softer plastic is more overstable. So I've been wanting to find one, but it's just the things that it does. It's like a Berg mixed with a polecat. I mean, it doesn't fly too far. It's not glidey, and you can just put it on any kind of touch, just like 100-foot upshots, 120-foot backhand, forehand. It can handle torque and not turn, and it likes to stay close to the basket. So it's perfect.
Nice. And no overstable approach disc that's been a staple for you, or?
I mean, lately I've been gaming the A2 and the A3 from Prodigy, but I can put in an entropy, I can put in a zone, I can put in I don't know.
Does it make a huge difference for you?
No. Yeah, a harp. I've thrown a harp before. Yeah, there's nothing that I've grown too fondly to.
Have you thrown a Suspect?
I have not. I've wanted to. I mean, I heard Jesse talking about his Biofusion Suspect and how it's kind of his mid-range now, but
he throws it so far.
Yeah.
I really like the Suspect. It actually has a bead on it, which is kind of weird. I've wanted to try, and I'm transitioning to mine if that's all right.
Yeah.
I've wanted to try the Suspect because it's been intriguing to me, and I've tried a bunch of different approach discs.
Mm-hmm.
But as can be seen on my wall, I am a zone guy.
Yep.
I got a bunch of Tour Series collector zones. Right now, I have a soft zone and ESP zone, but I always have a zone. Actually, I always have two zones in the bag. And that blue one is, I will pull that off the wall and put it in my bag for a tournament because it is just my trusty zone that I've had since like I got it like a year into disc golf. Made a trade with a buddy and have been using it ever since. I don't know. The zone is just perfect for me. Super stable, trusty forehand and backhand. And I, as you know, and our listeners do not know, I am a forehand. Forehand is a strength for me. I wouldn't say that I'm a forehand dominant, but it's definitely a strength of mine.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely one of those, not like ambidextrous per se, because you only use your left hand, but it's like your forehand is just as strong as your backhand. You're very
distance-wise, consistency. Yeah, I feel like it's.
Yeah,
I might be a little more consistent with the forehand, but distance-wise, I get the same out of both, which is. I don't know what that says about me.
But. Not necessarily unheard of, but it's like it's unique.
No, that's common.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what about some mid ranges for you?
As a long discussion point for you and I have one mid range that's a staple, and the other slot of a mid range has lots of variants for me, which I've been trying to find an overstable complement to one of my favorite molds ever, which is the Origin. I got a prototype Origin right there. I always have at least one, but usually two in the bag. One that's newer and straighter, and one that I can get more like a hyzer flip two-turn. But I love the small diameter mid that feels best in my hands. I don't like the wide buzz. I don't like the rock, the EMAC Truth. They're like too big for me. I feel like I can't control them as much.
Yeah.
So Origin is the staple for me. And also quick shout out to the Pathfinder, which I've been messing around with. Just got this glow one, which is sick.
Is that orange one glow
and
too?
That's also smaller, a little more stable. What?
Is that orange one glow too, or no?
No, this is just a aura.
That looks like a kind of a color glow.
Yeah, I can see that.
Orange
on camera.
Yeah.
The glow on this thing, super impressive.
Nice.
Big glow. So shout out to the Pathfinder that I've been messing around with, and also shout out to the Cax Z, which, as you know, is
hanging pretty strong in the bag.
Yeah, I'm messing around with other things, but it's been in my bag. Like if I were to play a tournament tomorrow, it would be in the bag.
Yeah, for sure. For me, there's only one mid-range that I have kind of fallen in love with. It's been pretty recent, but it just feels super confident forehand. Super confident backhand. I can forehand it when needed for that kind of longer approach shot that's not quite dumping out as fast, but that is the MVP. Oh God.
Reactor?
Yes, Reactor. Thank you. Yeah, it's my favorite disc.
I'm glad you remember what your favorite disc is. That's good.
Yeah. I have two of them in the bag.
Yeah, I think that is a great disc.
Yeah, and so if
Simon goes to MVP, I think he will love that one for sure.
Yeah, I think it'll fly a lot like his MDs. It's a tad shallow, but that's why I like it. But I have a 170 fission plastic, so it's a lot straighter. Not a lot straighter. It's just straighter in its flight, and then I have a 178 neutron one. So they're different enough that I can have both in my bag. But I found with my mid ranges, my eighth 2 goes just as far as my Pyro went, goes just as far as my Justice would goes just as far as any of those like overstable mid ranges.
Yeah.
So I didn't find the need to have
For a super beefy.
for a super beefy mid range. And then if there's ever like a headwind, so I need more stability, I'm just going to go up to a fairway.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable doing that. I need that. You need that little bit extra distance to fight that wind going against your disc, anyways. So that's what I would. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You haven't tried a glow reactor yet, right?
Not yet. Not yet. I mean, that's definitely
Because
one.
those are more stable, but not
Yes.
like
Yeah.
too overstable.
Yeah. And yeah. So like needing, yeah, that's definitely the next step up. I don't know what the next step down would be. I have a hex. Looking at the numbers,
did you
you'd
like the
think
hex? Or is it too stable?
it was too stable for me. And then the best thing about MVP for me is the consistency in how their discs feel. The reactor
Mm-hmm.
always flat, always the same. The hex, it feels good, but the reactor feels better, and
Yeah.
I can't take the time to beat in an MVP disc. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
So
they keep their stability pretty well.
yeah, yeah. So it's not going to happen, which is fine. Um, and that's why I think playing around with different weights as my stability differential might be more beneficial than trying to beat in a disc and potentially losing it and having to start from scratch again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited with this Globe Pathfinder to see if it's any more stable than this one, just to kind of experiment with it. Because this thing is like the origin turns. This does not turn. It just goes super straight and then it fades.
Yeah.
And the origin will get turn and like sometimes fade out depending on shot. But I'm interested to see if this one's more stable. But
Nice.
we're not the biggest mid range people.
No, we don't have big arms.
You have a bigger arm than I do, but we're not pushing 450 here.
No, not close. All right, what are your fairways?
Okay. My fairways, I have two staples that I have had in the bag for quite some time now and are two of my most like if I need to throw a shot that's 350, I'll pull out a distance driver.
Mm-hmm.
But 300 to 340, I'm throwing my fairways, which I feel like more holes are around that range.
Yeah.
At least here in Colorado.
Yeah.
And that is, I'm pulling them out because I love them. The Discmania FD3. Specifically, the Color Glow FD3 this is my favorite run of disc of all time so far in my life. I got a retired one right there, which I will pull out for tournaments, but it's like I'm beating this one up. Shout out to Micah for giving me this one because he's a homie. Yeah. I was like, dude, are you sure? Like, he's like, yeah, of course. I don't throw anymore. I'm like, sick. And then I got a Metal Flake C-line from the new Discmania made FD3s. Like, this was Innova made. Yeah. And these are definitely a touch more beefy. Don't really throw this backhand unless I need to get like a big spike hyzer. But I'll throw this backhand, but I mostly throw them forehand. And then my other staple is the Dynamic Discs Escape or the Escape, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
And this disc is pretty perfect for me. It's not too beefy. A new one definitely has like some stability to it, but it's very straight. You put it on Annie, it's what everybody wants a disc to be for them, right? Feels good in the hand, like all the stupid cliches, right?
Yeah.
But it holds lines the way that I want them to be held. And it just is a great disc that I've found. So I usually have 3 escapes in the bag.
Nice.
One that's a little newer and gets more fade, and then two that fly the exact same and that are I like to cycle discs. So
Yeah.
right now I just have the one because I'm messing around with something else, but the
And
Escape and the FD3 are my two staples.
yeah, you forehand the Escape 2 as well, right?
If I need it to turn, yeah.
Yeah.
Or if I need to like do a standstill, I'll throw it on
Yeah.
hyzer and it'll
Because
flip up
yeah.
perfectly and
Yeah.
then
And I
get some
mean,
turn.
I've seen you throw those escapes. I've thrown escapes myself. It's just like the ease of distance that you get with that disc is just unparalleled. I feel like I almost want to say it just wants to stay in the air and you get the turn out of it without it ever kind of turning into a roller.
Yeah, never any fear of it turning
Yeah.
over. Like
Yes.
it'll turn, but it won't turn over.
Yeah. You always
At
know
least
it's
for our arms.
yeah. Yeah. They definitely fit our speed, our arm strength very well.
Yeah. I got a Supreme Escape. Oh, it's not up on the wall, which is the new Supreme plastic.
Yep.
I
Yep.
got that at the Dynamic Discs store in Emporia, which is pretty sick. And I threw that all over Country Club. Like I
Yeah.
was throwing that a ton at Country Club because it had a little more stability to it. And so
Yeah.
I threw that one flat like I would here in Colorado, and it just went straight and faded. Whereas these ones I was throwing with a little more hyzer and they were flipping up and getting more turn.
Yeah.
But it's been just such a good disc for me, and I've got probably 8 of them now.
Yeah. Yeah. That it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. What do you got?
I mean, for me, my fairways, I wouldn't say it's the strength of my game per se, but it's where I'm the most comfortable. It's where I'm throwing the most shots from, and it's where I like to have the most variety in my stabilities and
Yeah.
molds. I carry anywhere between 5 to even 8 fairways if I needed to, because they go just as far as my distance drivers. I mean, to be really honest, if I'm when I go to the golf course here and play on the wide open hole, it's like my distance driver is not going any much farther than my fairway. But by
I will
far,
say it is definitely, if I were to put your strength like on a scale,
yeah,
fairway drivers and the way you throw those, I would definitely put it at the top of your strengths.
yeah, yeah, and it's just like the ones that I have, I know how they're going to fly. I know how far they're going to fly, and I can get them to do a lot more than I can with a driver.
Yeah.
They're more workable for me. So
I feel like it's also a good like I remember playing a tournament where I was trying to throw distance drivers and I was like getting frustrated because I wasn't throwing them the way I wanted to. And then I just told myself, okay, I'm not gonna throw distance drivers. I'm just gonna throw fairways. And then the rest of the round went so much better because I just committed to fairways and it like put me back into my throwing form,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
some definitely has to do with like my arm speed,
yeah.
right?
Well, also just I mean, I think one thing I like is my bad throw with a fairway is nowhere near as bad as my bad throw with a distance driver. Like
Yeah, exactly. It's more forgiving.
yes, like my distance driver could go 420 feet on some miraculous thing, or it could go 320. That's way too big of a margin to be have a difference. And I know my fairway
Yeah.
is going 360, 370, depending on which one I choose, but like every single time, or I can maybe push it up to that 390 when I hit it right. So it's like I can trust them a lot more to throw them how they need to be thrown.
I remember hole like 14 at West Creek, Aaron Parker. I remember you threw the escape and just put it on a big, beautiful line, and you like nearly parked a 400-foot hole.
Yeah.
And I was baffled because I couldn't get anything even like within 50 feet of that. I was just,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they go far. So I don't know
yeah,
why.
more forgiving. It's like a fairway driver, like a 3-wood or a 5-wood or a
Yeah.
7-wood in golf.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a lot easier to hit,
Easy,
a
easy
lot easier to
distance.
throw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one, I think I will always have one in the bag, is the Explorer. I mean, it's just, I have my one that I've had since I started. A lot of it is sentimental value, for sure. It's kind of what I started with. But just the plastics that they have them in, the distance that they go, the control that I can get with it, it feels confident in my hand. Um, it's not the best for a forehand, but I have a flat top Emerson Keith like Opto
Yeah, those
X.
ones are stable.
Yeah, and it's like if I need to go get a stable one, they have them in the plastic that is. And then I have one that's seasoned for about 4 years now, and it just flies dead straight the whole time. So um, if I really needed to, if I wanted to minimize my bag, I could have 3, 4 of those, and I wouldn't need any other fairways, if I
Yeah.
wanted to.
Same for me with the Escape.
Yeah, like
I have a super beat up one. Got a brand new Supreme stable boy.
yep,
So
yeah. And then a disc that I have been absolutely loving recently, and I think will kind of be that staple, is the Infinite Discs Scepter from Drew Gibson.
so that'll be your FD3.
It'll be my FD3. I was mashing on a Felon. I had a pretty seasoned Felon, and my poor forehand form was I was needing something just a tad more stable. So the Scepter, the Color Glow plastic feels amazing.
Color
It's,
Glow, man. It's the
yeah,
best.
I don't know why I haven't thrown it before,
That's what
but
this FD3 is, man. It's
yeah,
just so good.
yeah. My anti-Innova phase is coming back to bite me in the butt, but
I mean, it doesn't
feels
have
good.
Innova stamped on it, so
No,
it's
exactly,
acceptable.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone needs kind of that staple, overstable, fight any wind. You know, it's going nowhere but right for us
It'll
lefties.
forgive your forehand if you throw it on
Mm-hmm.
a little Annie.
Yeah, you chop off a little bit, it'll still fight back for you. But if I ever played at the course Huntington Beach here,
Yeah.
I could probably play that entire course with that disc and a putter. Like it just does everything that I needed to. I can work it any way I want. It's stable enough that it'll turn anytime I need it to, but it's not dumpy in its flight. It's really good. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I found that one.
Everything you just said is like the reason I fell in love with this disc was
Yep.
was like the disc that I like. If I want to throw a 300-foot chip shot forehand, I can do it. If I want to throw a 360-foot flex forehand, I can do it. Like,
yep.
This disc is just so money, and
yeah,
like you have to find that type of disc for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they're out there. Okay. They're out there.
And there's I mean, every company's got their version of it, right?
Fairway.
But
yeah.
Okay, distance drivers. What do you got for me?
I got a whole lot of nothing in that section. I carry 4.
You're experimenting.
I love to experiment. I have, as you can see, a lot of frisbees. All of those are distance drivers. So it's kind of my biggest section. I just have 2 destroyers and a Rive, and I'm loving the Rive.
Oh, okay. Just two destroyers in a rive.
I think I have another one. Let's see.
I thought you had a
I do have
trespass in
I do
there.
have a trespass. Yeah, the one that you gave me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of
Yeah.
my. It's not
Not the
understable.
biofusion, just like the
No.
fusion burst.
Yeah. Yeah. But the Rive and the Destroyers, I mean, they do what they do. They go straight and far for a long time, but they're super reliable and they're going to fight back at the end. That new Supreme plastic, or is it, what's the latitude? What are they calling their plastic?
Royal.
Royal. Yeah. The Royal
Yeah,
plastic.
like
It just, yeah.
pick that up there.
Yeah. It just feels amazing. It's super comfortable, forehand or backhand. Um, But look at that one.
I might need to send this to you. This is a Star Destroyer pre-flight number.
Yeah,
Very very
that
flat.
looks
Might be good for your forehand. Very beat up.
yeah, that'll be good. A little bit extra distance to it. But
Yeah.
so I've been mashing on my. I have a G Star Destroyer, and I went out to a field. I brought 10 distance drivers, threw them each about 4 or 5 times, and every single time the G Star went the farthest. So I was like, am I the most
This might be similar to that.
yeah, am I the most like confident in it? No, but it's hard to argue with results. And I'm
Agreed.
getting ready. I'm getting ready to go. So my next like disc golf event is going to be the Memorial Championship in Arizona, the first
Yeah.
week of March, and you just need pure distance. There's not a lot of trouble, so it's just a distance contest, and that is what I think. That's what I went into my practice session of trying to find is just discs that go far, and then I know it can get windy there, so having a few more stable options for the wind.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. Would you say that you experiment more with distance drivers than any other range?
No, I would say there's the most like turnover. So I could put any of these discs in there and I wouldn't say like be successful, but like it would be the same.
Feel like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, this trespass is gonna fly. I know how that's gonna fly. Like no matter what distance driver I put in there, it's not going to change the flight where it's just kind of hit it hard and flat, fly straight, and then finish at the end. They're all gonna fly like that for me. So
Yeah.
it's just getting ones that sometimes fly a little bit further, but I play more around with the fairways for sure. Yeah.
Like the 9-speed fairways or like 7 speeds more.
I would say the 9. My 7s are pretty solid with my Explorer. I don't need much more than that. I've been messing with an Eagle though, as kind of that overstable 7 speed. Yeah, but the 9 speeds for me go from my roller disc all the way up to my Scepter or an FD3 or a Felon, where it's just super overstable.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah. All right. What about you for your drivers?
Well, as teased earlier, I was on the In the Bag podcast, and I was given 2 options for a distance driver slot, and that was the Trespass or the Sword by Westside. And I got this disc, and it, as I expected it to be here in Colorado, it's a bit stable still, but I got actual distance out of it. Whereas like before I'd thrown the Trespass, tried Destroyers. I really like Enigmas as well. That's another staple, but I'll get there. And just stopped throwing distance drivers backhand because I just wasn't getting anywhere past my escapes. And so I was just like, okay, I'm just going to throw escapes. I'm not going to get frustrated throwing a distance driver. And so I just kind of had like that gap in my bag. And they recommended the sword, and they sent me this pink one. It's got a good amount of dome to it, so I think that helps with some of the glide, but it's not like too domey that I feel like it's just like pop beefy top, you know?
Yeah.
And then as I started experimenting with, I wanted to get some other plastics of swords to see kind of how they would be.
Mm-hmm.
I got these
swords.
They still call it Orbit at Westside, right? I think so.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't.
Well, yeah, their name
everyone has a different thing, but
I think they all call it Orbit.
Yeah.
And
Halo.
this pink one is exactly. This pink one is my money distance driver right now. This one is my straightest. If I throw it hard and flat, it'll get some turn and it'll fade out consistently. This one is not as seasoned as the pink one, so it's just got a hair more stability, but that's why I like to have two that fly very similar. And then this one has a little bit more stability. And this is actually the furthest disc that I've ever thrown. I got 400 feet with this one for the first time. And that was on a flex line where I put it on Annie and it held it all the way, but then it faded really far, but it like faded forward.
Yeah.
And that for me was like the key, that a distance driver faded forward without just like fading to the side.
Yeah.
So I still got distance out of it. And it's changed my game. Like it gave me confidence that I could actually throw distance drivers. And I was like, dope. Or backhand anyways.
Yeah.
So that's the first staple. And for now, I'm not even thinking about experimenting with any other distance drivers backhand wise. And then forehand, I have long used the Enigma. This one you gave to me. This one's clean.
Yeah.
No stamp on that.
Love the wipe stamp.
Yeah. And I only throw the Enigma forehand now. So I don't love the sword forehand. I can throw it, but I just don't have confidence with it. And so I decided, you know what? I'm just going to have a backhand distance driver and different ranges of stability in the same disc with plastic and stages of wear. And I'm going to have a forehand distance driver that is going to be kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So this one is my max distance. I can consistently throw my forehands like 380.
Yeah.
And that's throwing it flat, not forcing it over. That's just like throwing it hard and flat and getting that big turn. Like when we played at the Budweiser course.
Yeah. The 17, I think.
I'm thinking the downhill one. It's like it's like like hole 11 or so.
Yes.
11 or 12.
Yeah.
A downhill one where I just like par 4 made it through those trees and just crushed it. Yeah. And you're like, dude, what the frick? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
It's like, yes, let's go.
Yeah.
So the Enigma's pretty much a staple. And then I'm also enjoying the Cloudbreaker for the overstable, like the more stable version of this, because I don't really want to go get a new Enigma right now.
Yeah.
And it's a sick disc and it feels fantastic forehand.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing this one just on flat and it's just going straight and fading hard.
Yeah.
And it's great.
I threw that in my field session. I really liked it. I mean, I've had a DD3 before. I had the first Cloudbreaker from the mystery box.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
But I still have it. The coating is like coming off of it. It's totally weird. It does not fly like a DD3 is supposed to anymore. But it's definitely usable.
These are not as stable as the DD3.
No, not even.
Which is why I really like it.
Yeah. It's a super straight to like finish, but not dumping.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that like kind of pushing fade at the end instead of the dump.
Yeah, these two, backhand and forehand, fly like the exact same for me, which is what I want. I want that disc that I can trust to throw, that I can throw in a headwind, and I can trust that I can hyzer flip it, and then it'll still fade. And then this one flies like my orbit swords. So I'm really confident in my distance driver lineup right now, and I'm not looking to mess with it.
Good.
And like I'm messing with some new fairways right now just for fun, because that's what you and I like to.
That's what we do.
But and that's what this in the bag section is supposed to be normally. It's just like, hey, what's kind of new in our bags? What are we messing with? Or just a conversation about discs and plastics and stuff like that.
Helping us to decide what we should put in our bags, all that jazz.
Yeah, instead of us sending long texts.
Yeah,
this is our excuse to talk about it.
Yeah, perfect.
But yeah, stoked with the distance drivers right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
On the 2-minute drill?
2-minute drill.
Perfect.
And we're going to try to keep this to 2 minutes.
Okay.
So my thought this weekend, if you have a different thought, then we can talk about it as well. But I'm in Colorado. I'm getting frustrated that I haven't thrown a disc since when I played in snow, and it hasn't fully gone away yet. Yeah. And we're projected to get snow in the morning, and I'm not happy about it. But I'm not going to be able to get good distance practice, right? Like throwing distance drivers or fairways to work on my form. But I can putt. However, I have I don't want to putt on concrete, and I've got snow in my front yard.
Yeah.
So my 2-minute drill is, what creative indoor putting ideas with limited space do you have, or just thoughts on putting practice?
Cool. One, get a practice basket. You need a practice basket. Everyone needs one. If you don't have one, go get one.
Or make one.
Or make one. Yeah, you can make one. Get a practice basket. 2, get comfortable with those 15-footers. I mean, I have a garage, and I think from front to back, it's about 15, 20 feet. So yes, I'm not getting those edge of circle 1 putts or those long putts, but if you can clean up those 15-footers and make them with your eyes closed, you will save strokes, you will get better scores, and you will put yourself in opportunities to win those rec, intermediate, advanced tournaments. If you're needing a challenge, you can try different stances. So put yourself in a doorway, work on straddle putts, work on putts from your knee, work on a scuba putt, work on a little forehand flick in those 20-foot ranges. Because
if you get bored, that's a good way to change it up.
Bored. If you're on a course, you're behind a tree, like in the East Coast or whatever, you're on a wooded course, or there's a big bush in your way, you gotta be comfortable in trying to put the disc in the basket in an unorthodox way.
Yeah.
And then last one would be disc dot to help you focus, and or take the chains off and just work on banging that center pole. I think
just beating up your putters.
Yeah, I think Paul put a video out there of making a few without the chains in it, right? Am I during COVID?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I've seen it somewhere where this guy just is like spinning putts and making them without chains. So it's like, or I mean, it's the same concept: aim small, miss small, or you put your disc dots on your chains and kind of dial in those short putts.
Yeah. What about thoughts of putting inside?
Like, do I think it's good for you? Do I think it's bad? What?
Or just like, how could you put inside? Because that's where I'm struggling with. I don't want to be, the only time I have to practice putting is when my dog. I don't want to bring my basket inside because it would be super loud. So I'm just wondering if you have any creative solutions to putting inside. But you said a garage, which is a good suggestion, but I don't want my discs to bang off the concrete all the time.
Yeah. I mean, if you make them all the time, you're not going to hit the concrete. So, um, inside,
I set you up for that. I'll take that one.
yeah. I mean, you can put a blanket down so they're not hitting the carpet. You can also just get aim for a carpet, the backing of a couch, just hitting a square that way. You can set a towel. It's just the whole aim small, miss small, getting repetitions with your release, your grip, getting confident. I mean, you could play like putting practice to a partner. You can throw like stand there 15 feet away from Paisley, putt to her, just that release. So she can catch it. Yeah. Trying to think. I've also thought of putting like a netting behind my basket, or I've hung like a big towel or a big blanket so that it doesn't hit the garage door, doesn't make a loud noise banging everywhere. So that's all I got.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's a 2-minute drill. That it's probably 5 or more minutes, but that was good.
We asked a lot of questions, so we're good.
Yeah. It's the 2-minute drill is to give you something to think about and work on in this week. So hopefully next week I will report back with something that I've done to help with my putting, or just like putting practice, because I'm confident with my putter right now, but also like I've been confident and then gone out and played around and putting sucked. I'm like, what the frick happened? Whereas like if you can get practice, then it's not like you're confident and then you haven't played in a while and then you go out and then your putting sucks and you're frustrated. It's like you can keep that consistent practice.
Yeah. Yep.
Practice doesn't make perfect, but practice leads to improvement.
Yes. It's a good quote.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Coach said it once, called it good, right?
Yeah. You have any closing remarks?
Nah. Just I don't know how long this was, but
yeah.
Fun for us.
It was a long one. Yeah. I liked it. I mean, I always like it when we can start diving into our bag. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think they'll be a little shorter moving forward from here, but
yep.
Or they might be long for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let us know what you like.
They're as much for us as they are for them. Below. So comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you all next week.
Everything that all the stereotypical YouTubers say or whatever, right? But
yep.
No, we appreciate it. Thanks for listening.
Hey, have a good one.